You know, Moshe Rabbeinu had a whole career before he took the Jews out of Mitzrayim. Think about this. Moshe Rabbeinu took the Jews out of Mitzrayim when he was 80 years old. He left Mitzrayim after he killed the Egyptian. He had to flee to Midian and other places. He was 20 years old, meaning there were 60 years from the time he left to the time he came back. At one point he married Tzipora, but the Medrash doesn't tell us what he did with all of those years. So there actually is, the Chumash doesn't say, there actually are Midrashim that give him a whole career. He went to Cush, he went to Africa, Ethiopia. He was king of Ethiopia for a long time. In fact, some say, if you remember in the Chumash, the Lashon Hara that Miriam says about Moshe, he took a Cushite woman. Now Rashi says that means Sipora. And why is Sipora called Cushi? Cushi normally means like a black African, because her deeds were so unique that as conspicuous as black skin would be, as Sipora's righteousness routines, it's a very indirect way to refer to Sipora. But some say, no, this is referring to another wife. Another wife Moshe had earlier in his life, who was a Cushite woman, a woman from Africa, presumably a black woman, and he was king. Did he have children from this other wife? I'm going to check. I don't believe he did, but I want to check it to be sure. And Moshe had a whole career, which is, it's a very interesting thing. When you're 80 years old, you normally think about retiring, right? You think, okay, I've done my life, now it's time to retire. But you see from Moshe Rabbeinu, you never know. Maybe the whole tachlis of your life is going to be towards the end. I mean, he was king here and a ruler here. He actually spent 10 years in prison. He was imprisoned at various times. He had a whole life, which the Torah does not tell us about. By the way, that also goes back to my earlier point. The Torah doesn't tell us about that part of Moshe Rabbeinu's life because there was no particular Musar for us in that life. But he did have, according to this, he did have another wife, and he may have had children, although I believe he did not.